Hi, today we are going to talk about contract management app for Business Central Dynamics 365, made by Petsa Sitera. Little about the company. Those are our core values: execution, teamwork, professionalism, and commitment. So we've been operating Business Central for over 20 years now. We have a team of 70 professionals who are servicing 650 customers. We are top 365 Business Central partner, and we have about 60% of the 365 Business Central market share in Estonia. So that's brief. About contract management app, as Business Central is currently lacking the functionality, we have created an app that would fulfill the gap. So you can have contract data management with attachments and also printouts. Then we're gonna check the purchase or vendor side of contract tracking and fulfillment, also with contract lines and with jobs integration. Also, we're gonna check the sales or customer contract side, this tracking and fulfillment, also with some contract lines. And also for the sales side, it's the periodic billing that's included, or the recurring billing or monthly billing or yearly billing or how the company might want to use it. So that's today's agenda. So let's check the application then. So we have the contract list, and let's check the sales side at first. Let's say we have those purchase contracts here. So everything is tracked. We have all contracts listed. So today we're going to just create a new contract. Let's say we're going to create it for tracking amounts for some agreement. Let's say we purchase some long-lasting service or reduced a lot in the construction business. Maybe have the subcontractors and so on. So you kind of ask a price for some kind of job, and they will bill you during, let's say, half a year, but you have a fixed price. So you need to kind of keep an eye on it. So let's say they are making like renovation of bathroom tiles and so on. But let's say we buy it from some construction partner, let's say EG. So we can also check who's the person contact on the partner side. So we have some kind of duration usually for contracts. Let's say it's from the 1st of April till the end of August. So we can have like contract-based payment terms here. So if the vendor card has some other payment terms, then you can have a contract-based payment terms, and you can have salesperson code as well. Also, you can use, or there is a full dimension support for dimensions. So you can use all the default dimensions on the contract actually. So we are lazy, so we are going to use maybe, let's say it's a finance department and maybe some object as well. Let's say it's the subject too is okay. So at this point, we're not going to use any contract lines, but that's also a possibility. Let's take the next example, then we can check how those feel. Of course, you can add some attachments. Let's say we have this, there's this standard attachment support added to contracts. So we can choose any file. Let's say we have some contract, maybe examples on the desktop, a demo contract. So you don't lose your files; they're always in this one place. So I think. Oh, it's already attached. Nice. So it should show something. No. Okay, seems something has changed here, but no worries. We're gonna fix it. Okay, but let's move forward. There is this attachment functionality as well, or you can link it to any SharePoint or OneDrive source. So, and let's say we fixed agreed an amount. Let's say it's like 10,000, and they're gonna do the works. They maybe have monthly billing. It's agreed, or when some phases end. So that's about it. We don't have to. We just need to track this amount. It will not be overbilled and so on. So when the invoice comes, we can use the contracts on either purchase invoices or on purchase orders. Let's make it on order. So when we are entering the invoice, we can check, do we have any contract amount remaining or no? So let's make a new contract. So let's fill in this, and we have contract number here. So you can choose among the open contracts for this vendor. So we see they have already one contract that has been exceeded, but our contract is we still have enough available here. So and on lines and invoice lines, I can use anything like GL accounts. No, it's a standard invoice, so it doesn't actually matter what we're going to use. But I have a service here. Description, let's say it works. So we have a quantity, let's say they billed us for 4,000. So we don't have to fill in anything else. Also, they took the dimensions from the contract, so we don't have to fill them in here. So now let's just post it and let's see what happens. It's also possible to check the contract itself as well. Well, maybe in some cases it's needed. But yeah, let's post it at the moment. Yes. So now we can see that this is our contract. We see the amount, and we see the completion percentage. We can sort them here, kind of, and we can check the contract card again. So now we see that there is some kind of completion here. So it will track directly from the GL entries, and the accounts from which the tracking will be taken can be set up in the contract setup. So let's check this as well, contract setup. There is also a nice auto setup feature. Oh, we can just run this through as well. So the contract management actually requires that you are using the contacts model in Business Central. So if you haven't started using it, then there is like very quick tutorials to start using it. So you just fill in some setup fields in the marketing setup. We'll create this integration part, and we'll add us contact numbers as well, if those are empty, of course. And then you can actually run a batch job that's a Business Central standard and create contacts from all the customers and from all the vendors. But as we are using it already, we don't need to do it. So you, of course, have to assign number series for contracts, and you can assign here like tracking accounts. Usually it's the PL accounts. In Estonia, it's usually from 3 accounts starting from 3 till 9, but in other countries it might be different accounts. So usually, where you register like sales revenue or expenses or those accounts. But also sometimes you buy something to the balance accounts. Let's say there is some kind of construction that is unfinished. It's not the cost, it's not the revenue, but you keep it in balance, so you can add additional amounts. It's good to avoid accounts where your payables and receivables are, and also the VAT accounts. So otherwise it might be showing you some wrong numbers. But if you have P&L accounts, so that's okay, and you can add additional balance sheet accounts as well. You can also assign some defaults. If you're mostly using the contracts for tracking sales contracts, you can say that the default contract type is sales, and the default category for sales is, let's say, subscription, and default for purchases is, let's say, services. So every time you create a new contract, it will first offer you type sales and with subscription, but you can always change it. So yeah, this is about periodic billing, some features. And we'll check some other features later along the road. So that was short about the accounts where the tracking will be, or the completion will be taken. So now we can see it's a P&L account. So we can see tracking from here. So that's kind of one example. Maybe there is like another scenario where you kind of need contract also, let's say vendor or purchase or procurement side, when you will agree with the vendor let's say in a certain amount of buying some items with some fixed price, and you want to track them. It's, let's say the contract is for a year, and you buy every month, every week, maybe some batches. But yeah, you need tracking that if the quantity is already like filled or no. So then there is like this other scenario. And also a brief about the categories. You can use categories to categorize your contracts. So maybe you have some kind of procurement contracts, construction contracts, let's say subscription contracts, and let's say like different kind of things, services, items, whatever. You can define here, is it usable on which side, sales side or purchase side, or on both sides. So sometimes it's needed to use the same contract category maybe on both sides. So you can see how many contracts there are in specific category. So there are some periodic billing setup fields here meant for sales contract or periodic billing, so you can assign kind of defaults here, like the monthly billing frequencies, let's say 1 month, and the default item might be like this, and use for periodic billing as well. And you can assign like different contract layouts for category. It will be transferred to the contract end, but you can actually change it on contract as well. So you can actually define different word-based contract layouts. Mostly probably will be used for sales side, but maybe sometimes for purchase side as well. But we'll come back to those later maybe. So let's say this is a supplier contract. Let's say we have a procurement for, let's say, medical goods. Let's see, we have some procurement number. Let's see, we have a partner. Let's say B. Let's say it did start in May and will end on the end of the year. Some payment terms here. Let's say those are like 30 days. Let's say somebody's responsible for it as well. And the department is, let's say, it's purchases. There is no object. So we also want to add some contract lines. So we have now lines available. Let's say we're buying those items. Have some medical goods. It was a nice example, but let's say those are, let's say it's medical goods. So let's say it's masks. And let's say we agreed on 10,000 unit price of, let's say 50 pieces. And let's say we have another item as well. Let's see what we have here. Do we have any nice items? Maybe a lot of items, but nothing really useful. So let's use this one. Disinfection. So let's say it's another 5,000 with 5 euros. So we have agreed on let's say this amount, and so let's refresh the card. I want to see the line amount as well. So we have agreed to buy 10,000 masks and 5,000 disinfection stuff. So here we'll see the contract lines amount as well, so we can enter the amount here as well. There's no autofilling because maybe there are some other costs involved as well, maybe some, I don't know, contract fees or whatever. So, but you can easily fill it in by this. Okay, so now let's check if you can see how much of an item is like being purchased already. So again, the same scenario. Let's say there is this purchase invoice coming, or purchase order maybe. Depends how you're going to use the goods. Do you have inventory management or no, or this just costs? So let's see, we have this APP. Let's see if we can get invoice as well, or the contracts. There's a procurement for medical goods. Q3. So yeah, we can check what we had here. The lines here. So masks and disinfection. Yeah. So let's fill in the lines as well. It's according to the invoice. So let's change this here. We have some location as well. Let's see, it's this one. Let's say we will buy like 3,000 pieces. And let's change the price to the right price. And we have the next item as well. No, let's say we're just buying the masks. Or maybe we should use a normal piece for purchases. So we have 3,000 pieces. Okay, let's just post. Maybe we wanna just post and receive it first. Maybe the invoice comes later. Okay, I have some missing setup here. That's not good. But let's post the full order. Let's see if that's possible. Okay, that was possible. So, but actually we can track both of them, the received quantities and also the invoiced quantities. So let's say we can make the line active, and we can see the information here that it's the contract lines quantity and shipped received quantity and invoiced quantity. So if you check the shipped received quantity, you will see the item ledger entries. And if you check the invoiced quantity, actually also the item ledger entries are opening, but actually it's calculated from the numbers itself is calculated from the purchase invoices and purchase credit memos. But you can navigate to them from here quite easily. So if you check this second line, then we see there is only this contract lines quantity, and nothing is received, nothing has been invoiced. So it's kind of good to keep an eye on how things are going. And also there is integration to the job side as well. So we already made an example here. 10,000, we're tracking like 4,000, but if it would be related to a job, maybe this contract, you could have added a line here. Let's add it now. Let's use here this ATV as well. Works. Let's say we have 6,000 here. We can actually relate it to some job from jobs module. It's easier to search by the name, but let's use this. Okay, we could use this jobs, for example, and let's use a job task as well. Let's say we'll choose this one. And also we have here this option that we can send this to this job budget as well. So let's try how this works. So now it tries to send the line to job budget, so we can check if that did happen. So okay, now we can see we have this 6,000 here on this line. Not on this one, but on this where we did send it. So it's kind of easy to fill in like job budgets if you're using subcontractors and so on. And let's say if you don't want to see the jobs fields, you're not using the jobs module, you can easily hide them from the contract setup. But it really depends on the company profile. So you can just click it off, and now by default those should be hidden, the fields. So it would be easier to fill in the lines. So now we have only this very simple line setup. So there is no job fields here. Those are not used. So that's kind of all from the purchase side. It's meant for contract-based tracking. You can also track on contract item-based, so it kind of fill in some gaps in some scenarios. So now we can check the sales side. It's actually quite similar. Okay, let's just make a new contract. Let's say it's a subscription contract. Let's say it's the 365 subscription. Let's say they have 10 users, and company who is the contract partner. Let's say that's Itera. Let's say we have this long contract. Let's say 2 years. We have also some payment terms as well, maybe some salesperson. Again, a department. Let's say it's the sales side. Okay, no object in this case. And here we can use just like some simple contract lines if you maybe need some tracking. So as I had set up default values in contract, so those are kind of filled in for me here. So let's say Excel Word. I can use just some. Okay, the quantity was 10, and the unit price was, let's say it's 8 euros. So it's 8 euros. Let's say we can multiply this with, let's say 24. So we kind of get the contract total amount as well over the 2 years. Now I want to, so I can use it just for simple tracking, same way as I use the purchase contracts. I can use it on sales. I can choose the contract on sales order or sales invoice, and maybe I'm just selling some goods. Maybe it might be the same scenario that I agreed with the customer that I will sell, let's say 100 pieces for him with some certain price and certain quantity, so I can track those amounts as well. Currently, of course, nothing is invoiced, nothing received, but actually I want to use it for periodic billing. So I kind of make the periodic fields here available. So if I add another line here, it would take the information automatically, because the billing periods might be different than the contract dates actually. So those are doubled here. We can define which is the period, which is the end date of the first period, and so on. So we can add some text items here as well. Let's say what we have here. Interesting. Let's say it's according to contract. So it shows the lines are valid. If you add some text lines, it's good to check if this information is the same for both lines. So here we can click like we want to add some period text as well. So if it's a kind of subscription invoice, then it's always good to see the period. Let's say if I change something here, let's say the billing start date is actually February. Let's say it's the 15th February. So then date of the first period is kind of at the end of March. So if I now add another line here, let's say it's the same 365. So now it will take me the new information here. It will inherit them from the header. So it kind of reduces the mistakes, chances to make mistakes. But yeah, let's try it with both. Okay, let's say this is as well. And now if you're using periodic billing, we can just create first contract invoice lines. Let's say we can remove the contract filter from here, and we can create for all contracts at once. But currently we're going to just use it for this contract, as this contract is not billed since the beginning of the year, so it will create actually invoices for the first period. So let's start. Let's see what it did. It create us 3 contract lines for the contract invoice lines. So let's check how the invoice would look like. Okay, now we see we have this item line here. We have this nice period text actually. Then we have this text line here, and we also have the additional lines with a different period. Not a very good example at the moment. They would be on the same invoice, but yeah, I think we can actually build them separately as well. And if we, let's say, start the functionality again for creating the lines, you can of course change the billing date here. Let's say it's, I don't know, March or something, but usually it's done monthly, so there is no need to change it, but it's a possibility. So now it did create another set. Actually, now we can create sales invoice based on those dates. But for sales invoice, I actually want to do it on a specific date. Let's say it's the end of January. And we can create invoices by contract customer or by main contract. And we can also create it as an order as well, if it's item related. But yeah, let's make it simple. Let's make an invoice. So the invoice generation is, again, you can batch create invoices for all the contracts at once. But but you can create it contract by contract. So we can check the invoices actually from here as well. Now we see that those 3 lines have been billed because the posting date was within January. So we can check the invoice from here as well. So if it looks okay, we hopefully can post it. We can check the contract here. We have the payment terms. So yeah, but let's just post it. And so now we see that this invoice is posted. We can always check the posted invoices. There are canceling action available, but you can cancel only if the status is still new or on order or on invoice. If it's posted, you can't cancel it anymore. It's the standard logics. Okay, and now we will have this this shipped quantity here as well. As we have the same item is twice in the contract lines, that's why it counts them here, not on every line. So we can see the batch amount for one item. So if you create another invoice, let's say for February or February transactions, let's make this posting date. Let's see what happens. Again, an invoice. Let's see what was involved. Now it took all those 3 lines because they're all kind of involved in the March or in February matters. So let's post this one as well. And if we check the tracking now, we can see that contract lines quantity is actually like 12 because it's the monthly billing quantity, but the actual invoice quantity is already like 22. So we can check it actually from here as well. Kind of makes the transactions here too. So that's how we can track sales contracts as well. And of course, we have this still this GL tracking here. So we can check what it shows based on GL entries. We'll see that there are 2 lines with 80 euros. That's okay, and one with this 18. So that's correct. And also we can check the sales amount based on item ledger entries as well, and also the cost based on item ledger entries, or actually the value entries. As it's described as a item as a service, then there are no costs involved. But if you are using like stock items, then there would be some costs involved here as well. So we will see the amounts or the costs related to this contract, even if it's a sales contract. But of course we can make a test. Let's say we have this. Sometimes it might be necessary that you need to make like a one-time sales to a customer. Let's say we have this scenario. You can do it manually, and you can just check it from fulfillment. But if you wanna send it out with this, let's say periodic invoice, then you can just add a line. Let's add some kind of this this stock item here. I should have the location field here available as well. I think I've been hiding it. No. Okay, seems that it's not present. Let's see if we can bring it out with contract setup. No. Okay, that should be available here as well. Okay, but we can change it on the English. So I have this this one-time item that I wanna bill. Let's say it's I don't know, maybe some training. Okay, it's not a stock item, but training materials. Let's say 2 pieces by 100 euros. And this is not, let's say it's not a monthly billing, it's just a one-time billing item. So we'll remove the period text. Let's say it's the summer, to good summer in March maybe. So we have some kind of checks here, but okay, I think we should remove this one here and remove this one as well, so we wouldn't have any restrictions. So let's say it's the same date. So let's create invoices again, or not invoices, but contract invoice lines. Let's see what will be created there. So now I have these training materials here as well. They are in the March, kind of in the March post-intake range. So and it automatically became a non-valid line, as it was a one-time billing only. All the dates are the same, so it won't be actually billed anymore. So now if I have another round, then this line will not be involved anymore. So the training materials kind of is only one-time thing. So now let's create invoice for this as well. Let's make it for March. So let's open the sales invoices. Sales invoices list. Maybe that's more useful or more used thing. So we have the invoice here, the last invoice. We have all the lines here. Okay, we have lost the description, but no worries. We can bring it back. So let's choose a location here as well. The price is set, and let's post this one as well. So now we can see we have built this thing like 34 pieces, but this training materials, that was a stock item. We have should received all of them, and now we can actually see here some cost amount as well, because it was a stock item and it's related to some costs. And actually, it's taken from the value entries. So that's how we can have the tracking on those on sales contracts as well. So we can actually track some quantities, amounts, related costs. So it kind of gives us a good overview. And we can see some tracking on the contract list as well. Okay, completion. Okay, let's just take sales contracts. And our contract is here actually. So that's about all for the contract management. So you can use it for tracking either sales or purchase contracts or both of them. You can involve them in jobs management. You can use them with items. You can track quantities, track amounts, both side on sales and purchases. And thank you from my side, and that would be all for today. See you next time.